we are lifting some of those measures so that residents can spend more time with family and friends. So starting today, we're beginning to ease restrictions on visitors, and social day trips will resume for most residents. But we will continue to monitor the situation and adjust measures as needed to keep residents healthy and safe. But we're also moving on our broader plan to fix long-term care, and it is a plan, as you know, that is built on 3 pillars: improving staffing and care, strengthening accountability, enforcement, and transparency, and building modern, safe, and comfortable homes for our seniors. Our government has invested over $6.4 billion to build and upgrade long-term care beds across the province. This is an unprecedented build, which will lead to 30,000 net new beds and over 28,000 upgraded long-term care beds across the province. To put that into context, this is the largest building program in Canadian history. Today's announcement, of course, is part of that program. So I'm very pleased to announce that today that we are adding 128 new long-term care beds right here in Mississauga. It's 128 new beds for residents to call home near their family and friends and in communities that they have helped build. These beds will be built in a brand new building, will offer culturally appropriate services for members of the Coptic community. It is proposed to be a part of a campus of care so that residents have access to senior services and the care they need and deserve. Now, the building is in addition to projects already underway in Mississauga, and I have to congratulate my caucus colleagues and also thank the Mayor for allowing this to get done. Colleagues, it is truly impressive what has been happening here in Mississauga. Some of the additions include 632 new and upgraded beds at the Trillium Health Partners Speakman site, 192 new and upgraded beds at Schlegel Villages, 224 new and upgraded beds at Tyndale Seniors Village, 128 new and upgraded beds at Ivan Franco Homes, 320 new beds at Mississauga Seniors Care Partnership, and 256 new and upgraded beds at Streetsville Care Community and Redevelopment. That makes for a total of 1,880 new and upgraded long-term care beds in development or under construction or completed right here in Mississauga. Now, to put that into context, as I've said on a number of occasions, it is so important that we begin to rebuild the long-term care system. But to put that into context, that's 1,880 homes right here in Mississauga. The previous 2 governments, Liberal administrations in this province, built only 611 net new beds across the province. So congratulations to my caucus colleagues who have worked so hard to get these beds here, and it is truly remarkable. But it's not just about building beds. It's not just about building beds. It's not just about homes. As I said at the start of my remarks, it's about the people who are working within the long-term care system, the nurses, the RPNs, the PSWs, who've been the backbone of our system. And that is why we are moving to a North American leading 4 hours of care across the system. We are hiring over 27,000 additional PSWs and nurses to work within the system. This is something that we have said had to be done. We are investing over $72 million to increase inspections across the long-term care system. It is about building better long-term care homes in communities and making sure that the residents have the highest level of care that is available for those individuals who have helped build this country. So again, I want to congratulate my caucus colleagues, thank the Bishop for hosting us here today, thank the Mayor for her efforts in working with us to bring new long-term care to the city of Mississauga. And with that, I will turn it over to Mayor Crombie. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you, Minister Calandra. It's lovely to see you. It's always a great day when you come in and make this kind of announcement here. I really want to thank you for this very timely and very important announcement in the Mississauga community. I also want to thank MPP Effie Triamphilopoulos and all of our local MPPs who came out with us today. It's such an important announcement on such an important day. I see Natalia Kusendova, Bashta, who is the MPP, PA for Francophone Affairs and MPP for Mississauga Centre. Sharif Sabawe, also a parishioner of this parish, who is the MPP for Mississauga Erin Mills. Deepak Anand, the MPP for Mississauga Malton. Rudy Cazzetto, all the way up from Lakeshore, the MPP for Mississauga Lakeshore. Khalid Rashid, Minister for Digital Government and MPP for Mississauga East Cooksville. And Nina Tangri, the Associate Minister of Small Business and the Red Tape Reduction Committee. They thought this was important to all come out together today. So we thank them. Thank you for supporting our seniors and our families here in Mississauga. Now, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't welcome and introduce His Grace, Bishop Mina, who graced us here today. Bishop, thank you so much for your attendance. And of course, Abuna, who is the local parish priest, Father Angelo Saad. Always a pleasure, Father. I'm going to keep my remarks short because I know he's cold, and I am too. We all are. So we want to thank everyone. We're so grateful that the province has committed to building a new long-term care home here, the Virgin Mary and St. Athanasius Parish in Mississauga, VMSA, here in our city, adding an additional 128 long-term care beds to Mississauga. And I know how important this home is to our Coptic community. Abuna, Father Angelos, and I have been discussing the need here on this property for many, many years. A community that has made significant and lasting contributions to the fabric of our city. It is so important that we continue providing culturally appropriate services to our diverse seniors population, as they're the ones who helped build Mississauga into the incredible city that it is today. And we owe them, and we owe their families, to provide them with the comfort they need and the care that they need to age with dignity. But as Minister Calandra has pointed out, the support for Mississauga and our seniors goes well beyond this investment. Including the VMSA Mississauga, there are now 1,880 upgraded long-term care beds in development, under construction, or completed here in Mississauga. And these beds are urgently needed. Like so many communities across the province, our elderly population is growing rapidly. These beds will be critical in ensuring that our seniors get the support that they need in the coming years. The reality is that the COVID-19 pandemic has also shown us just how important it is to prioritize the long-term care system. And I want to thank this government and Premier Ford personally for making a commitment to tackle many of the challenges that our long-term care system is facing. Not only by building new facilities and updating older homes, but by strengthening accountability and transparency. And I applaud the Ontario government for taking the steps necessary to increase enforcement capacity, including doubling the number of inspectors across the province. We know that this will help protect our seniors in long-term care homes while improving peace of mind to the family members. So once again, I want to thank the Ford government and Minister Calandra for coming out today, and all the MPPs who have joined us. Thank you. Thank you all for having me here as well to speak. And I pass this on now to His Grace, Bishop Mina.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, distinguished guests. I begin by welcoming the Honorable Minister Paul Calandra, the distinguished members of Provincial Parliament, Your Worship, Madam Mayor Crombie, and all of our honored guests with us today. Caring for sick and elderly is a very important principle of our faith, as we are instructed by our Lord Jesus Christ in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, to care for the sick as if we are caring for our Lord Himself. The past 2 years we have highlighted this need even more. So with the challenges we have all faced during the pandemic, we know the need is great to these kind of facilities, and this is why we feel compelled to do our part. Today's announcement brings us great joy to be able to continue to serve our community for many years to come. I know today is the first step, is a long journey, but we are very grateful to the Government of Ontario and Honourable Premier Mr. Doug Ford for your trust in us, and we look forward to working closely with all levels of government to establish a centre to serve the residents of our great city, Mississauga and province of Ontario. We look forward to acknowledge and thank the leadership of the Evan Franco Homes for their guidance, support, encouragement throughout this process. I would like also to thank MBB Sharif Sabawi and all his for his continuous encouragement with this project. I look forward to us hosting you again to open these long-term care facilities, God willing, in the coming years. Thank you all for your attendance. I introduce Mr. Sharif Sabawi.
Thank you everyone for being here today. This is a historic day for me. I would like to thank Minister Paul Calandra for incredible announcement of today. Today's announcement is a promise made and a promise kept. That this government, under the leadership of Premier Doug Ford, is a government that is building for the future of all the people of Ontario. Building a modernized long-term care in Ontario after years of neglect is a priority. It helps elevate the pressure from our hospitals, and it provides a space for our most vulnerable to have the care they need and deserve. 35 years ago, before I came to Canada, and while I was still in Alexandria in Egypt, I have seen Father Angelus building a similar facility. And throughout the years, I have worked with him and the board here in Mississauga to build a facility to serve the community of Mississauga. With the leadership of government and community coming together, this dream is coming true. Studies had showed that language and culture specific care deliver best level of comfort to our seniors, especially in long-term care. As our government helped before with Indus community, Chinese community, and Ukrainian community, and many other communities, we thank the Church of St. Virgin Mary, the Canadian Coptic Centre, and St. Athanasius for stepping up to help the province build that needed capacity. Mississauga is a home for one of the highest Arabic-speaking communities in Canada, and we are creating the first of its kind to serve this community here in Mississauga. Thank you, Bishop Mina, Father Angelus, the board, and all the Coptic community for their leadership, and we are looking forward to get shovel into the ground ASAP. And I want to thank my fellows MPPs who supported and helped me in this project. MPP Natalia Kozundova, MPP Khalid Rashid, and MPP Effie Ternopoulos from Oakville. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to introduce my colleague Natalia Kozundova. Khalid Rashid.
Well, I'm not Natalia Kozundova. So. Thank you, and good morning, everyone. Thank you, Minister Calandra, PA Triantafilopoulos, and Mississauga MPPs for being here today. I would also like to acknowledge Mayor Crombie and Bishop Mina, who have also joined us for this great announcement. After decades of neglect, our government is saying yes to building much needed long-term care beds across the province, including right here in Mississauga. Together, we are building an Ontario that puts people first, and under the leadership of Premier Ford and Minister Calandra, we are adding 128 new long-term care beds and building a new long-term care home in Mississauga. These new projects will help protect our progress by bringing much needed beds to the province. We have heard the call for more long-term care beds for our most vulnerable and this government is delivering on that promise. Not only is this government making important investments to build more modern long-term care facilities, creating new and updated long-term care beds, but just last week, Minister Calandra and I made an announcement to make it easier for Ontario families to find suitable accommodations for their loved ones with the launch of the Long-Term Care Home Finder. This user-friendly website, which can be found on ontario.ca/long-term care, is a one-stop resource for anyone who is looking for information on Ontario's over 600 long-term care homes. Once again, thank you to Minister Calandra for his leadership on this important file. The additional long-term care beds coming to Mississauga is a very welcome news. Thank you, and now I'm going to request MPP Natalia Kosendova to come to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Rashid. Sabah El Khair, Mbamina, Abuna Angelos, Minister Calandra, Madam Mayor, dear colleagues, good morning. It's a pleasure to join you all this morning as we celebrate this exciting news for our community. It's great to see so many familiar faces. I'd like to first give my sincere congratulations to Minister Calandra as he embarked on his new role as the Minister of Long-Term Care. I've had the privilege to work with Minister Calandra on numerous occasions throughout my time as MPP, and I know that he is bringing a wealth of talent and expertise to this important file. We wish you the utmost success for the future in ensuring Ontario's long-term care sector remains not only a leader for Canada, but also for the world. Today's announcement marks yet more progress made by our government in fixing the dismal bed capacity in our long-term care sector left by the previous government. For the first time in history of Ontario, we are building a Coptic long-term care home right here in Mississauga. Le'awel Mara fi Tariq, Ontario, Tahabni al Kinesa el Kiptia, Belsharaka Ma'a, Hukumat Ontario, Dar Re'aya, Lil Mushnin, Tawelad al Ahmad, Andena, Hena, Fe Mississauga, Mabruk Alf Mabruk.
Bravo.
The Church of the Saint Virgin Mary and Saint Athanasius, in getting approval for their long-term care home, will be adding 128 new long-term care beds to Mississauga's overall bed capacity. With this, there are now 1,251 new and 629 upgraded beds in development, under construction, or completed in our great city of Mississauga. This is a part of our broader goal of 30,000 net new beds across Ontario, which we are well on our way in achieving. As our Premier always says, promise made, promise kept. You know, even before I became an MPP, I got to know the wonderful Coptic community right here in Mississauga and fell in love with this beautiful, breathtaking church. Little did I know that one day I would be married right here in this church and become a member of the Orthodox community myself. My story is not unlike stories of other Canadian families that have immigrated to Canada and call Mississauga home. And I was joking with my husband this morning that I'm in fact going to announce his future place of residence. But you know, all kidding aside, today's announcement is significant for several reasons. Not only does this mean that there will of course be more beds for Mississauga seniors, but moreover, that these beds will be culturally and linguistically accessible to those in the community who would benefit from these accommodations. As a lifelong advocate for long-term care, I have continued to stress how greater accessibility improves healthcare outcomes, because when our seniors can communicate in the language that they feel most comfortable in with their care provider, they are more able to ensure the treatment they receive is effective. That is why last year I tabled my motion on linguistically appropriate care, la motion sur les soins linguistiquement appropriés, at Queen's Park, reaffirming the commitment of this government in making progress to add bed capacity that reflects the diversity of our communities. These 128 new long-term care beds are another step in the right direction, and our government will continue to work to ensure long-term care capacity is strengthened with the aim of increasing linguistic and cultural accessibility, also top of mind. Thank you to our friends in the Canadian Coptic community for spearheading this effort, and I'd be remiss not to mention the great efforts of my colleague, MPP Sharif Sabawi. Congratulations, Mabruk, Alf Mabruk. Thank you very much.
Hey, good morning.